What's going on YouTube? Carolina Jackpot here, checking in on Sunday morning. It's time to put a cap on the Week 6 picks and predictions for the week of October the 7th of 2017. Pretty good week this week. Certainly made up for some of the picks that I had last week. So let's get right into them and see how we did. Louisville at NC State. I was able to cover the spread on that one. I thought that the Cardinals would lose that game to the Wolfpack and that NC State would win straight up, and they did just that. 39-25 on Thursday night. This is my what I call should have known better pick. Illinois at Iowa. It was an 18.5 point spread. I still picked the Illini to cover that one. They lost that game by 29 points. 45-16, I believe it was. Did keep it close for a while, but nah, it's not very good. Should have known better on that pick. Georgia at Vandy. I picked the Bulldogs to cover the spread and to wallop the Commodores, and they did just that. That was an easy victory on the road for Georgia, 45-14 over Vanderbilt. They had over 400 yards rushing, I believe it was, in that game. The Bulldogs did. Just manhandled Vanderbilt. 423 yards, actually, in that game. Man, they don't need to throw the ball. I'm telling you what, Georgia's found a method that works, and that quarterback, Jacob Eason, look for him after this season. I'm looking for that guy to transfer and find a new place to play because his style of quarterback just doesn't fit at UGA. Not that he's a bad quarterback or anything like that, but as a bad player. He's from out west, and one of the radio people here in South Carolina that does a show actually on CLEMSON radio was talking about him, and talking where he could possibly end up with Mark Richt at Miami, or could transfer out west and play for Mike Leach at Washington State, because he is from Washington. But I'm telling you, Georgia's got it clicking. Ranked number 5. They should either stay there or move up this week. Don't know if they're going to be able to move up or not, but Georgia, anyway, looking pretty impressive against Vanderbilt. Texas Tech at Kansas. The Red Raiders covered the spread. It was 65-19. They won that game. I thought Kansas would put a few more points on the board than that, but I did feel like Texas Tech could drop 60 against the Jayhawks. Their defense is absolutely terrible. Kansas, one of the worst teams in the Power 5. Wake Forest at Clemson. Picked the Demon Deacons to cover the spread barely. They did just that. I was sweating bullets, a little bit angry after the first 2 drives of that game. Clemson was 14-0 early on, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go again, man. I'm like, they're going to win this game by 50-something points, and I'm going to look like an idiot. Nope, they didn't. Wake Forest defense kind of stiffened up, and with a combination of, I think Clemson kind of took the foot off the gas pedal a little bit. Won the game 28-14. Their quarterback, Kelly Bryant, injured in that game. I heard he was in a walking boot afterwards, so I don't know if he'll play against Syracuse, or if not, or how much. We'd like to see them give this Hunter Johnson kid a chance to start at quarterback and see what he could do Friday night at Syracuse. I think they should. I think it's the right thing to do. Keep Bryant healthy for the stretch run. I mean, because let's face it, they could start Fred Flintstone at quarterback against Syracuse and win that game. Speaking of Syracuse, Pittsburgh did cover the spread there and got that pick correct to 127-24 in the Carrier Dome. Or excuse me, they lost 27-24 in the Carrier Dome. Dino Babers' team with the victory there. I kind of thought Pittsburgh was going to win that game going in, but not happened. Notre Dame, no problems with North Carolina. 33-10 victory without their quarterback and a couple of other playmakers. They still roll against the Tar Heels. They're having a terrible year. Minnesota at Purdue. Purdue Boilermakers, 31-17. Winners in this game against the Golden Gophers, so we did cover the spread on that one. Miami at FSU. See my little bottle cap right there, don't you? Yeah. That's because I already have my record down here for these picks and predictions. I did my video earlier, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted to, so I deleted it, but I already wrote my record right there. So I'm hiding it from you. Miami at Florida State. Miami come back, win that game 24-20 against FSU. With a late touchdown pass. That one was a little bit too close for comfort Going in, thought that Miami would kind of lay it on the Seminoles, but it didn't happen. One of those rivalry games. Miami right now, or Florida State, excuse me, right now is 1-3. Wow. They're probably the best 1-3 team in the country, but still, if you're a Florida State fan, that's really uncharted waters right there. 1-3 this point in the season. LSU at Florida picked the Tigers to cover the spread there, and they did just that. A lot of money on the betting lines came in on LSU late, and actually at kickoff time, I believe, from what I heard yesterday, in between working and whatnot, from another YouTuber that entertains a lot of us, Mr. Uncle Lou, that LSU was actually a favorite when that game kicked off against the Gators. Don't know what was going on there, but they won 17-16 in the Swamp. Don't really know if that means LSU's a little bit better than we thought they were, or that Florida is a little bit worse. I kind of tend to think that Florida's a little bit worse. Well, it's just they're just not a good football team. Penn State at Northwestern. The Nittany Lions rolled at Ryan Field in Evanston. 31-7 was the final score there, and covered the spread there, looking like the number 4 team in the country. Arkansas at South Carolina, a game that's very near and dear to my heart. The Gamecocks with the 48-22? 48-22 victory over the Razorbacks in Columbia yesterday. Had 3 defensive touchdowns, 2 pick sixes, and a 74-yard fumble scoop and score by DJ Wanham. They look good. Quarterback Jake Bentley, he kind of looked rattled and average early in that game. Despite the big victory, you can still see where those defensive touchdowns were key in winning that game, and the energy that brought. And that offensive line that we had out there yesterday was absolutely horrible. I'm telling you, if we go up against a good team and we don't have our starters back, it's not going to be a good day. I really wish we had an off week before we played Tennessee this week. I don't know. That's going to be a tough one to call. I don't know how the line's going to come out on that. I would think Tennessee would probably be a slight favorite because they're at home. I'm telling you, Gamecocks need an off week to rest. Tennessee had their off week this past week, and they actually won. But well, we really need one as well. We won't have one. We'll have one after that, before we play Vanderbilt. But that offensive line was really banged up, and getting into the game, you could see that Arkansas's pass rush was, I don't know, it looked like Chicago Bears from 1985. Louisiana Tech at UAB. UAB actually won the game. So now we're going to get these back-end games, and we'll see where we fouled up a little bit here. Louisiana Tech lost 23-22 to the Blazers. Don't know how you managed to lose to a team that hadn't played a game in 3 years, but Louisiana Tech did just that. I don't think they're very good. That's starting to make that really a little close win. My Gamecocks, a lot of my fellow Gamecock fans say, well, Cale, Louisiana Tech's a good mid-major type team. They're a great team in Conference USA. Not so much. This year, I don't think they are. You know, that was a bad game. Having such a close win against those guys. They got blown out by Mississippi State. It was like 57-21. So Marshall at Charlotte didn't cover the spread on this one either. Lost that one. Marshall did win the game, but it was only 14-3. I don't really know what to make of the Thunder and Herd. You would think they would blow a team like that out. Virginia Tech at Boston College. I picked Virginia Tech to win, but not quite cover the spread, and that's exactly what happened. It was 23-10. Boston College is tough. They're tough. They may not make a bowl game this year, may not win a lot of games in the ACC. They're still going to give the rest of their schedule some fits. Here's a head scratcher. Alabama at Texas A&M. You know, I guess every one of these teams like that's got to have a close game, and maybe this was theirs. 27-19, the Crimson Tide victorious over the Aggies. They kept it close though. Wouldn't let Alabama. It wasn't a fact of where they were blow for blow. It looked like Alabama was in firm control of that game the entire time. Texas A&M scored a late touchdown, make it 27-19, but they just wouldn't let them quite get away from them. Missouri at Kentucky. I fouled this one up and covered the spread. I thought Kentucky would win by like 3 scores at home, against Missouri, but they didn't. They needed 2 field goals in the fourth quarter from their kicker, Austin McGinnis, to put away the Tigers. This thing was tied at 34 going into the fourth quarter. Missouri, I don't know. I don't think they're quite as bad as people think they are. Everybody says that's the worst team in SEC, worst team in SEC. I'm not quite sure. But Kentucky still got it done. But Carolina Jackpot didn't. I missed that pick. Wisconsin at Nebraska. Probably another should have known better pick here. I picked the Hornhuskers to cover that 11.5 point. That's 11.5 points spread right there. It looks like Ohio. I don't know what happened with my Sharpie there. It was a little crazy. But home game for Nebraska, I thought that they would play them a little bit better than that. They did not. It was 38-17. A lot of people were saying Wisconsin's overrated. Don't believe so. They'll move up in the polls this week, probably take the place of their neighbors, the Big Blue Wolverines, who lost their game. And I picked them to cover the spread against Michigan State, and that was another one that may should have known a little bit better about that one. That was always a big rivalry game, and usually is a close game. Michigan State's playing better football this year. I don't think they're going to make the Big Ten championship game like they did a couple seasons ago or anything like that, but they did win on the road in Ann Arbor, which is never easy to do. 14-10 last night was the final score in that particular game. And the last one, San Diego State at UNLV. I had scratched something out here. I don't know, I was doodling or something when I made the picks, but if you watch the video where I did them, I did pick San Diego State here to cover the spread, and it was 41-14. San Diego State won that game. It was my lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels pick. UNLV was a 9.5 point favorite. I could not, for the life of me, understand why that game had such a close spread. But then it dawned on me later on in the week, after I read something else online, UNLV is playing for their city of Los Angeles, or Las Vegas, excuse me, when I'm talking about the shooting last Sunday there was probably a factor in the line on that game, that I thought they would be playing with some emotion there in that game, and I'm sure that they were. Still weren't able to get it done against San Diego State. That's crazy. So stuff like that happens. It makes you realize how ugly and nasty this world can be sometimes. I'm telling you. All right, guys. Well, the record for week number 6 was 13-7. Not too bad. That was my second. Also went 13-7. I think it was in week 3, maybe, or week 4. Certainly helps make up for week number 5. Last week was a complete abomination. Man, I was like 3-17 or something terrible like that. I don't even remember what it was. It was awful. But we got some good games coming up in week 7. Some games that are going to be close. I can't wait to see when the lines come down later today. My Gamecocks are at Tennessee. That'll be a tight one. Texas A&M at Florida. Might not necessarily be a great game. It's going to be a tight line. Same thing.